A question I get asked a lot as someone who's been lucky enough to go to quite a few Grand Prix is it worth it going to Formula One? Is it worth it actually spending the amount of money that it costs to go to Formula One? Are the tickets worth it, for lack of a better term? I'm just going to give my opinions and my thoughts really when it comes to this on this subject, guys. So I've been lucky enough to go to quite a few different Formula One circuits. As a fan, I've been to Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya in Spain. I've been to the Hungaroring in Hungary, and I've also been to the Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium. I've also been to the British Grand Prix a few times as media, but not as a fan. Now, the question as to whether it's actually worth it or not does depend a lot on the race and a lot on your circumstances as well. For example, going to the British Grand Prix is one of the best experiences you can have as a fan, but it's also a very expensive one. A weekend ticket for Silverstone these days will cost you easily upwards of £300, and that's without factoring in accommodation, which if you're going to go for a hotel, good luck. You're never going to find one, and even if you do, it's going to cost you at least a couple £100 per night. Even if you camp there like a lot of people do, which is a decent option to go for, that is not free either, and that's before we even talk about all the drinks, the food and everything else. Honestly, per person, if you're going to go for the entire weekend to the British Grand Prix, it's going to cost you easily £600. That's an absolute minimum. Is it worth it? Well, again, it depends on your kind of perspective, really. If you want to go to Silverstone to experience the British crowds, experience the Formula One cars going around one of the best circuits in the world, then yeah, it is worth it. But if you're a more casual fan, it probably won't be worth that level of investment. I would honestly recommend for people in the UK, for example, to go to a race in Europe. It's actually significantly cheaper to go to a race in Europe. For example, Belgium, the Netherlands, Spain, all the ones that I've been to are relatively cheap and cheerful to do. And the same can be said for both of the Italian races around Monza and Imola. And even going to the Netherlands is not the most expensive, really. It can easily be cheaper to go to one of these events, include the flights, include the hotel, than just drive down to Silverstone. And these events are absolutely fantastic. Every track has its own unique characteristics, and something always happens that makes it a unique experience. Even races that if you watched on the TV would not be described as the best, really, they are still really good to go and watch. I would definitely say it is more entertaining to see them in person. Seeing Formula One cars tear around these tracks, go around some of the most incredible corners in the world, is an experience that you will never forget. And being a part of such a like-minded community, you know, it's not as tribal as what things like football are. If you support a different team in Formula One, it's all good. It's not a problem. You're not really going to get any trouble. It's nothing like other sports like football. Of course, there are elements where you do see some pretty nasty things nowadays, and I do think that has changed for the worse overall, but these are really isolated incidents. It is not the norm for these things to happen. But the other side of things where I would say Formula One is definitely not worth the money is going to places like Miami, going to places like the Las Vegas Grand Prix, which are very, very expensive to go to. And in terms of the on-track action, it's usually not the best. These are very, very expensive events to go to. If you have the money and you want to spend it, go for it, you know. There's more options when it comes to tickets. Obviously, you don't have to go get a grandstand ticket. You can get a general admission ticket, which is usually not the most expensive. But overall, I would say in general that going to Formula One is absolutely worth the money. If you compare it to other sports, it is not actually that expensive, and there are ways to get around the most expensive parts of even the most expensive weekends. But it does very much depend on your budget, but I would 100% recommend that you go and try it out. If you love Formula One, you love watching it on the TV, go down to a circuit, go and watch a Grand Prix. If it lines up with your schedule and you can afford it, I would highly recommend giving it a go, and then you'll know. Because if you never go for it, then you're never going to know whether you like it or not, and you'll probably be carrying that regret with you for some time until you actually try it. But those are my kind of thoughts on it, guys. Formula One is not the cheapest sport to go to by any means, but compared to some other sports, it's not actually that expensive. It depends how you do it, and it also depends where you go. But overall, I would say that my experiences of going to the Formula One have been overwhelmingly positive, even when it's chucked it down with rain at places like Spa. It's just a magical place to go to, and that can very much be applied to most of the current calendar, with some exceptions. You'll probably know which ones I'm referring to there. But yeah, like, share, comment, subscribe. As always, guys, give us your thoughts and your experiences of going to Formula One. Would you say it was worth the money, or do you think it's a bit of a rip-off? I want to hear what you have to say in the comments below, as always. And have a great day wherever you are in the world today, guys, and we'll see you very soon.